Welcome everyone. My name is Mike Hamilton from Trade the Easy Way. So I'm just going to walk you through the markets, our normal Monday routine as we prep for the week. And you're looking at the Dow daily chart here. So the Dow has had a very nice move up off of all this support and we're going into all of this resistance. At the very least, getting a pullback here. So if I just expand this a little bit, you will see that the volume has been coming off back in the last week. MACD is showing weakness, showing divergence. So at the very least, we need this to pull back. This is a very nice 1, 2, 3 wave move, 4 and 5 potentially. If we start closing underneath this 33,750, I know the futures market is adrift to this, about 160 pips higher. So if we start to close underneath this level here and expect a decent pullback. Otherwise, if all we do is drift into this trend line support, which would be another few hundred pips underneath here and hold, or if we're really bullish, we just come back and hold this level here, then we could make it up to 35k. So let me clear this up, because as long as we don't close underneath this level here, and we just do it at some sort of gentle pullback, then I think we can push up into at least May, potentially June. Here we are, just the second half of April. All right, so I have been shorting up here and just looking to see if this can close a little lower. Like I said, if it continues, I'll stay short. If it turns around and holds on this support, I'll back off and start buying. But I just think it's time. This Dow has come a reasonable way. We've got options expiry on Friday. So yeah, just seeing if we can hit this resistance and get a pullback, and then potentially get another leg up. Right, S&P's looking very much the same. I mean, they've hit a more crucial resistance level up there. Let's look at the FTSE. FTSE's in this drop zone. So we were above the drop zone into late Feb, third week in Feb. We spent most of the first couple of weeks in March up here, and then we legged it right down to this breakup area. So we boomerang back down to the November support, and then subsequently shot up again. So we've done this. We've done a move up, gently pulled back, had another 3-wave move up there, 3-wave corrective wave, and a 3-wave push higher. So we are just zigzagging at the moment. So this is sort of no man's land, really. If we just sit in here and go sideways, that is bullish, but not much good for me. What I would like to see is a push up to that resistance and then a lower close. So all-time highs up there at 80.50 roughly, give or take a few pips. The MACD is still strong, obviously showing a little bit of slackening. So, and the averages are wide open. Okay, so at the moment, if we just consolidate and then dip and hold, then this is going to march up. If we close significantly lower, then hold on to your hats, because it's going to pull back. All right, so at the moment, that is not giving a sell signal, simply moving sideways in that resistance area on this FTSE chart. Have a quick look at the DAX before we move on. Yeah, so the DAX is attempting to come in the underside of that trend line. If we fail here with a lower high, lower in terms of the trend line, not the actual price itself, because we are sitting up on these highs. So we are divergent. We have got some divergence more so in this one. I'll just show you where. So we are making new highs up here as opposed to these highs here. So the market is coming up, but the MACD is making a lower high. So that is significant divergence. We had divergence here, which just created this pullback. So again, with this market, we are due some pullbacks. Just a question of whether this pullback gets bought and takes us back up, or if we stay lower. Right, gold, I have been buying dips in this gold. You can see this pink zone, which comes from the drop zone literally 12 months ago, almost to the day. Yeah, Monday, 18th of April 22, we started a massive decline here. So we peaked at 2075 in 8th of March, roughly. But this 23 new high was last Thursday. So same issue with the indices. If we're dropping right back into keyline support, could easily come further back into this 1965-66 area. Still bullish. We are, if just look at the getting a little bit ragged in this MACD, and we're under the midline. So the momentum's really come out of this. Volume in the last 2 trading days has been profit taking, showing profit taking. So it's a question of whether we can dip, if we're going to hold here and close above this pink zone and go back to these highs and beyond, or if we are due a deeper pullback into this breakout trend line that we had. So what do I think is going to happen? I think we might come a little lower to this 1966-67 area. I mean, that's what's showing up at the moment. I am still buying dips here, but I just think day trading wise, but I think overall we might need a deeper move back to get this market to find some buyers. So that's the level I'm watching out for at the moment. It looks like we're closing a week here with the potential for deeper pullback. All right, oil has come off as well. So basically the dollar's kicking off a bit. This is a huge trend line resistance. Very difficult area for oil anyway. So hardly surprising it's run into that area and coming off. If we get some momentum here, we could come find this gap. Gaps normally overshoot, so I'd love it to come back to 73, 72.50, 73 area. But that looks exhausted up there and looks as if that needs, well, at the moment it's getting a pullback. All right, so if we look at the dollar index, and then we can look at the euro. So dollar index is coming off of Feb support, looking like it wants to go potentially push all the way back up there. So if we start closing above this area here, you can see the chart pattern. If I take this off, so you can see huge trend line support underneath. If we start breaking above that resistance, then expect a greater push in the dollar. we've come back, we've peeled right back on the basis that the market up till now has thought interest rates have peaked. And the bond market had stabilized, but don't count on it. We still have inflation in the system, and I think inflation is stubborn. So hence the reason why I'm still buying dips in gold and looking for some potential deeper selling in these indices. That's a short-term view. At the moment, it's a big week for earnings because we've got Goldman Sachs this week, a few other big banks. So we had some big banks coming in with results last week, which impressed, back in the last week, with a lot more to come. Right, so moving on, let's be quicker. Let's have a look at some commodities and then we'll get going. So this is real relative strength. If the wheat can come up while the dollar is coming up, that is real decent relative strength. So it could be that this, let me tidy this up. This support that we've got here from July 21 is going to hold, and we could start to close higher, because if this wheat, and you'll know wheat is my 23 chart of the year, if that wheat starts to close above 725, I'm hoping that's going to gather a pace. If we turn around at 725 and close lower, this could all fall apart. So I need minimum 725 to prove my case for the wheat. In the meantime, we've got copper. That's had a little breakout, but it's pulling back. I think this 88.90 is viable. But if we start closing under there, then be cautious. What else have I got? Let's look at silver. Silver is looking really good. With you one moment. That's not silver. What have I got then? Yeah, that's better. Wrong chart. Right, silver's had a good move. So this is huge support just down here. MACD has got very extended. Momentum's dropping off on the histogram. So we are due a pullback. I wouldn't mind betting we'll come to this, come all the way back to 24. I think we could peel back to this 4th of April bar, possibly. If we get a shallow pullback, then this could be it. This 24.75 could be it. Right, let's move on. Miners. So we're talking about metals. Let's talk about miners now then. Pan-African sitting up. If we can close above this 19, then I think we can see 21, 22 plus as the year unfolds. Any pullback to 17.5 is viable if we see the volume and it holds there. Right. I think my chart of the week is going to be no, not this one. Hang on, where's it gone? Oh, I'll come back to it. So it's in a different system. Let's stick to miners. Wow, yeah. So Griffin has tested resistance today at 92. Very handsome volume. Will we see a gap fill? Possibly. You know what? I actually think it's worth bidding on 75 for a couple of days. And if you don't get filled, you may have to buy higher. But that, if that's an indication of the direction for that one, then that bodes well, because we should go and find the go through the pound mark. So I think it's worth bidding on that one. And sentiment is pulling back. 99 is the pullback on that one. Sylvania. Yeah, I think this is a buy zone. We've had a decent move off this 85, 86. So I'm just liking the metals. Anything to do with metals is good. TGAP is still flailing down there at support. We're all the way, so we picked up from here in April last year. So let's see if that can pick up from here. Right, moving on. Stay on basic materials. This is it, Man Group, Quality Broker. I think this is a three-wave corrective wave, and the volume has come in on here. We may go and see £2, but it's sitting at 210. I think that's worth a bid, a buy at 207. Because if we start closing higher here, I think this could really go. Don't think that's not going to. Yeah, we have come back, and so we've broken out on the 13th of Jan. Had a really hefty move into 292, and now we pulled right the way back to December lows. That is my chart of the week. Man Group, EMG. I like FXPO. This may pull back further. Keep an eye on this one. I'm not going to trade this one yet. I'm going to keep a closer eye on this one. We are in a bearish channel, so we could always come to the bottom of that channel. Right. Jim Diamonds, I think he's worth a punt. Glencore. It's already going. If it has a bad day and pops back into 467, 465, that's a buy. Right, I was looking at retail. Shoe Zone. Wow. I'm keeping a very close eye on this one because I'm still adamant this is a good short candidate from the behavior. I just don't trust that chart. It's very gappy, insignificant volume. I think it's a terrible brand. I think it's a prime. There's a gap up there at 248. I'm going to drop this alarm down. If that comes in at 248, I'm going to look at the volume on that. If that alarm gets triggered, and I'm going to short ex-dividend. Right. Okay. Thank you for that. So yeah, I was wandering through the wall in main stores. Tesco's, Sainsbury's, all doing well. EasyJet sitting up. So despite the higher oil, normally these airlines are divergent to oil. Surprise, surprise. So the oil's come off today. I would not buy that. And as I keep saying, I'm not a fan of airlines. Right, what else am I going to show you? Let's look at TUI. Wow, that's very beaten up. We're coming down on volume. We appear to have a lot of volume on Thursday. I tell you what, if you're a fan of this one, if that picks up above 560 on volume, this move could be over. In the meantime, I would not touch it with a barge pole. That is very weak. Look how weak the MACD is. Still looks, moving averages are still open to the downside. and the histogram can't get above the midline. So momentum is definitely on the downside to that one. I was going to suggest, yeah, W.H. Smith's ABF. This is the real litmus paper. If this Associated British Foods can stay up, then I think that bodes well for the sector. But overall, I am bearish the sector. I don't know why. Actually, a friend of mine put me onto this one a long time ago. These guys make sandwiches in airports. You know what? It's actually quite a good technical chart. Look at this move down here in October from 189 to 280. So if that tips back to 235, airport volume is getting back to pre-pandemic levels. So they can sell a lot more sarnies. I reckon that I think you should watch that one. Because if that comes back to that trend line and holds on volume, I think that's a good trade. SSPG, I can't remember the name of them now. Right, moving on. I meant to, okay, let's stay away from that one. Hello. Let's look at this in detail. What do you think of Tullow, Andy? So I think if that gets above, if we hold this 30 and we start closing above 33, I think this is a goer. I would stay out of it. So we moved from 26 to 34 recently. I think that is well worth watching. GKP. Looking for takeover, right. Okay. Wow. So that's had a big squirt higher and is pulling back into the breakup area. PFC. Yeah, almost rebounded from its breakup 48. Volume's coming back into that. So I think that is, if you're interested, that 62.50 is the price to look for. This is Wood Group, isn't it? Yeah, they're going. That's on the way up. What else do I like? What else am I looking at? Hang on. I haven't looked at BP for a while, so let's see what they're doing. Getting back to resistance after a decent pullback. Right, moving on. What do you want me to look at, guys? What else? The housing stocks are holding up. Oh yeah, this one. I think this Chemring could see the big breakup area here. Oops. Yeah, so these recent lows was the same breakup area as March 22. So I think that is a good one. This BYIT is gone. Yeah, IQ, no, what was I going to look at? I know what I was going to look at. Vodafone is all right, but not great. Yeah, so we gapped up on the 13th of Feb. We've overshot the gap fill, which is good. Volumes are okay, but not brilliant. If we start closing underneath 90, then I will potentially get out of that. Yeah, this is it, QQ. So suggested this was a good option back around this 317 plus. We're currently 370 nearly. I think this is still time to buy. You never know. They might go and retest 352 again. If they do, I think that's a buy. I think it's going to get back to £4 plus. You can see how important this area is. Back here in August last year, we dropped out of this. So I think that's going to need another run up. Barclays is still above Rolls-Royce is above 150. Right, last chart, unless you've got some. So looking at these bellwethers, this one is okay. So as long as that holds up, that should be all right. Just want to look at Goldman's before they get their results. Right, sitting up against the resistance area with results on the way. So even before the results are out, the volume is still doing okay, still picking up. So maybe the market knows something we don't. So if you can see this trend line coming across the highs. If this and this 50%, if that 34 holds, then we look as if we can go and attack the highs again. Okay, so at the moment we've still got markets that are holding up, but we've got a lot of vulnerability there with that dollar picking up. And very interested to see what gold is going to do. So I'd still like the miners very much. Still like the commodity sector. Still looking for wheat to pick up and copper to hold down here. So cautiously optimistic on miners and commodity related stocks. Very much more cautious on other sectors, but overall, I think we are doing okay. Let's look at the euro. I'm going to finish on the euro. Beasley, okay. I'll go and look at Beasley in a second. So euro slammed into this resistance on Friday and closed lower. I think that's in fact that Friday close is a sell signal. We've got a lower close off of that resistance area, the ambush resistance, and that looks lower. So still time to get in. If we see any push into today's highs tomorrow, then I think that could go off. Look at the MACD. We've definitely got divergence up here. Got divergence with the histogram and the averages and a sell signal. If that euro loses its footing, then I think we're going to come down here over, well, potentially grind lower. I don't think it will flush lower. I think, well, who cares? The fact is, I think it's lower. To come down to this support, I think we may bounce a bit, but ultimately I still think we're going to come lower. All right, let's look at this Beasley. Now, have I got that? I That's the housing stock, isn't it? That is looking like we at least want to come and see 530. At which point I'm still not convinced it's going to. Oh, insurance, right? Okay. Why did I think it was housing? Don't know. So huge amount of resistance up there at 675, 676. It's basically there's a bit of a bull bear trap up there because you've got a three-wave move down into support. So we've gone back to resistance. Looks to me as if they could come to, I think they're going to want to come down to that 480 at least, 475 maybe. If we come down here and hold on volume, I would be interested. But I think we're going to do a full-blown move back to August lows. That's a significant sweep back. So if that's a 1, 2, 3, what do you think? What are you looking at? Let me just line this one up. Let's look at some more US stuff. Right, so we've recently done a push off of 510. Okay, well that changes things for me, because if we come back to this area and hold, I would be a buyer. I certainly wouldn't buy where we are. I presume you're looking to buy. Right, 575, okay, back in November. Right. Well, at the moment, I think we can see it. I think we'll see at least 550, but possibly deeper. Unless we start to significantly turn around here. I'm going to put that on a watch list, but yeah. I was going to say. Yeah, let's look at, so backtracking a little bit. Let's look at this US silver miner. Looks as if that may want to come back. CDE, in theory, 375 is the pullback on that one. A bit FCX, given that I've just talked about for copper. I think FCX could get back to that 39. Unless that turns around there. Right. Let's look at some just text. Let's look at speculative PLTR, Uber. So I'm just getting a feel for the US stuff now. THG, yeah, I saw that pop today. Let's go back over that. it's got a history with the main man, isn't it? Which is one of the reasons why it's been dragged down. Let's continue this look at US stuff a second, Baba. Not convincing. Yeah, so the MU has hit a heck of a lot of resistance. Bristol Myers. Going to look at my PFE in a second. Marvel. Cecil, anything you're looking at? 220, right, okay. FRC, right. I'll go and look at THG in a minute. FRC. First Republic Bank, interesting, okay. Ooh. Wow. That is a, look at these series low highs. This was in the tea leaves, wasn't it? Just a complete series of lower highs. It rallies, and another series of lower highs. Rallies, another series of lower highs. Are you looking for anything, or is that just of interest? You're actually looking to do anything with this? It looks dead in the water now. Options, right. Have you got any options on this, or you think you've had taking options out? Looks like selling calls on any rally. Yeah, this is a US bank. You do have options, right? Okay. If you've got options on the long side, wow. Well, there is certainly some support there, but wow, that's really beaten up. Very, very beaten up. As you don't need me to tell you that, do you? If you're on the wrong side, I've got options expiry Friday, haven't we? What do you need this to do to make a profit? What are you looking? What are your options on this? Looking for 14. Right, okay. Well, that's not much of an ask because we're only 13.20. So if this gets to 14, you're in profit, are you? Okay. Well, there's some evidence that it might bounce off the floor there. But like, you're not far off 14 anyway, so with a bit of luck, you'll achieve that. So we've been down here since 20th of March, right? We've been going nowhere since the 20th of March. Well, if it does see any, if it starts to close above 14, 15, that you never know, it may even pop, given that it's come so far, unless the market has really given up on it. Right. Pfizer. I still really like the health. This is a good sector. I still think this is a good sector. I think this, I'm in this Pfizer. Took a little bit of heat, got in a little bit too early. But if we stay above this 41, I think we can start to climb. Because if we ultimately, I think this is a good option to play as well. As long as we don't start closing under 40, I think this, if we start closing above 43, I think this will pop. I think technically this is a very good. I mean, last time we did this, we went up to 59. So I think this is a good, maybe one to look for in the next option season. But I think that is a potential goer. Well, I'm in it. So anyway, and BMI as well. Let's look at Medtronic. So that's already popped from the August lows. If that dips to 67, I'm going to set an alarm, because if that dips to 67, I mean, and holds, of course. And last one, but Medtronic. Yeah, and this is a good stock. I think it's a good recovery stock. If it's C79 on volume, I think that will hold. I got into Pfizer. I got in around about 39.90. So it then dropped to 38 before climbing. But if I'm right about that, let's look at the weekly before I go. Liking that. Huge support down here. Let's forget that's old hats. Let's move that. Yeah, so close above 42.5, 43. And I think that can go places. Brilliant. Thanks for your company, guys. Thanks for coming along. I will update you as the week unfolds. Stay safe. And look forward to seeing you again. Thanks. I am trying to book a London event, so all you UK guys, keep an eye out. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Bye.